Hello, welcome to the Daily Grind here on Latte Firm. It is Monday, the 9th of June. I hope you've had a fantastic day wherever you're watching from. And if you are tuning in for the first time, please do like and subscribe and all that sort of jazz. I've just come back from cricket training, been in the nets. I've taken a very, very quick ball to my ribs and I'm in a lot of pain. I'm hoping that I'm better tomorrow, but it is not looking good, bruv. Let me tell you. A warm welcome to everybody in the chat. I've just noticed people watching from all over the world. Arpit, Zubi-Zubi-Doo, where are you? We've got some goals to score now. I love that you guys love the thumbnail that I did. Really appreciate that. The North Bank, an Arsenal podcast, says if Zubi-Doo takes off instead of a message to you, Zubi, the special, oh yes, I may have to walk away from the Arsenal. We will have failed as a fan base. Seriously though, Zubi-Doo is awful. Matt's watching from Chicago. He says, actually, it's a fantastic episode title. Thank you for that. Dan's in the house as I've returned and can finally catch the show live. Evening FK, let's have you. Tonight we're going to talk about Zubimendi. Are Real Madrid about to hijack our move for Martin Zubimendi? I don't think so. And I'm going to tell you why. We're also going to talk about Kepa. Arsenal are set to sign £5 million fee. Kepa, former Chelsea, former Real Madrid goalkeeper, will join as Arsenal number 2. And of course, Benjamin Šeško, Simon Collins of the Evening Standard, breaking tonight that Arsenal are in talks now over a £70 million move for the Hitman. How exciting. How exciting. So there we are, day 9 of the transfer window. Settle down. Tell me what you're thinking. We're going to do a couple of polls as well. V Vlad says good evening. Karen says good evening. Thank you so much for your warm greetings. Love the emotions and the greetings in the chat. Oh, here we go. Forder on football. Thumbnail game is getting better, eh, Forder? Not as good as yours, of course, but I'm getting there. No, not quite. Although the guy that I was facing, his dad played for the West Indies. There's a clue. It's really sore. I'm in a lot of pain. Ian says, good to check into one of these 10-minute transfer chats. Yeah, I'm going to try and keep it really short and sweet. If you're tuning in for the first time to these daily grinds, we've had quite a few shows now over the last few days. All started off with Alexander Moneypenny of the Different Knock, where we talked about our summer wish list. We then did a little winger show with Dobbo. We looked at our rival spending with Kaya. We did a feature on merchandise to survive with Laura Kirk. What else have we done? Tomorrow, we've got George from the Canon podcast joining. Wednesday night, I've got Clive from the Arsenal Vision podcast. Thursday, I've got AFC James. Friday, of course, Late Night Lounge. There you go. Love it. Love it. Just tune in, enjoy, and of course, hit like. Really, really appreciate you joining the chat. Shori is in the house. Says latte time. Able to catch you live after ages. Thank you very much. John, you're summing it up, mate. Day 9 and I'm already tired. I am exhausted too, mate. The transfer window is taking its toll on me. Mohammed, evening, and here he is, the goat. Evening FK, Zubi, giving us the eyes and the ninja emoji. Connor Gray says hello as well. Welcome to the show. Hand of Ursel, keep the chat active, my friend. Hand of Ursel, I've done it again. Hand of Arsenal, keep the chat active. Tell us what you know as I bring up my slides. So look, only one place to start, and that is, of course, Zubi-Zubi-Doo. Where are you? Right, first up, what a day of sport yesterday, eh? Ladies and gents, boys and girls, did you see the tennis? Absolutely extraordinary stuff at the French Open. Those clay courts, I don't know how those players just slide around, but Alcaraz, sensational, absolutely sensational. Coming back from behind, a remontada, if you will, winning it. He had 7 championship points in that final set. Phenomenal tennis at the highest level, the highest caliber, sensational stuff. And then, of course, you watch the Nations League where Martin Zubimendi, unfortunately on the losing side, as Portugal won the UEFA Nations League on penalties. But Martin Zubimendi, what a performance. Did you guys watch it? There's a compilation going around on X, 3.5 minutes of every touch, every ball action that he had, and he looks really good. I saw someone describe him today as a Jorginho with legs, and I got to say, I quite like that sort of description. He's a very, very high touch passing machine, loves to play at the base, can play in a pivot, gets the ball, just gets the tempo going, dictates that play from deep. Great passing, dink master, just controls the tempo. I'm really excited about this. But there was news in the day that Real Madrid were going to be at the ground, or Florentino Perez was going to be at the ground, and that they were going to be after one of the players from the final. And the story has broken today, and you can see Madrid Extra. Those are the bandits on socials. They're saying, breaking news, Martin Zubimendi to Arsenal was almost done. But a call from Real Madrid has now changed everything in capital letters. The situation is now open. So Real Madrid are sniffing around Martin Zubimendi, who of course will cost a cool £51 million. He is of course a Spanish international midfielder. He's been doing fantastic in La Liga. But Hand of Arsenal is not so convinced, and he's been tweeting very, very actively about it. He says, Martin Zubimendi today, the player will join Arsenal Football Club. All the relevant paperwork has been exchanged to complete this transfer. This includes very sensitive legal binding agreements, which is standard occupational practice. There is a tripartite agreement between Arsenal, Real Sociedad, and Martin Zubimendi. Once the Spaniard completes his medical successfully, God willing, he will be unveiled. Now, there's a lot of talk about Martin Zubimendi joining in July, some sort of finance thing that Arsenal are looking, some sort of accountancy thing that they're sort of looking to exploit. But I'm hoping Hand of Arsenal's not going to let us down. I think the deal is done, and I think we are going to see Martin Zubimendi join as an Arsenal player. You always doubt it, don't you? You always start feeling nervous. You always start sort of wondering, are they going to gazump us? Are they going to get in there? He's a Spanish player. Maybe he wants to play for Xabi Alonso. Maybe he wants to stay in La Liga. But it sounds like, depending on who you follow on socials, and I really trust Hand of Arsenal, he says that the paperwork is done. It is a matter of time. Roshan says, when are you getting Berta in on the daily grind? Well, Andrea Berta, Senor Berta, if you are watching, my friend, you are always welcome to come and divulge whatever you want to talk about in terms of Arsenal updates. And Saliba Abu Sali says, any updates on Leroy Sané? I don't have any updates. I don't think it's going to happen. It's a player that I don't want to see come to Arsenal. I think for all sorts of reasons. Wrong end of his career, injury prone. I wonder, motivation, is it as high as it once was at Manchester City? Not for me, and not on those wages. V Vlad says, FK and Clive, man, that's an elite combination. Full week of elite guests. FK keeps spoiling us. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to do bite-sized roundup shows, no agenda, sometimes just me on my own like tonight, and I want to take your chat and sort of get the questions from you guys as well. But yeah, we're going to be rotating the guests throughout the entire summer to keep you entertained. Taylor says, I liked Zubimendi's performance last night. Usually dropped very deep, but was also very mobile going forward. Do you know what, Taylor? He's more mobile than I thought he was. And I got to be honest, I've not seen many Martin Zubimendi matches. I've only seen those sort of compilations, and I was a little bit worried about his dynamism, his sort of athleticism. But he covers a lot of ground. I like it. I like what I see. Real midfield general. Yeah, I think so. I think so. V Vlad says the Madrid media propaganda machine is insufferable. That's exactly what's happened. I think they're just releasing things on social to try and get us worried. Hand of Arsenal says Joaquin Maroto is a Spanish journo. Says Perez was working on a secret signing. This journalist is the only one who Perez gives an interview in the last 10 years. That's where it started. Finish that story, Hand of Arsenal. Tell us what's going to happen. Thomas says, big up Latte. Thank you for that. J Dimes in the house says, big up FK. Big up to you guys. Look, closing thoughts on Martin Zubimendi. Obviously not an Arsenal player yet. I think the paperwork is signed. We've got to believe Hand of Arsenal. Some of the bigger accounts. We did have a here we go, didn't we? From Fabrizio Romano a couple of weeks ago. There was a sort of vague here we go. I think it's going to get done. There's a £51 million release clause, which we will be allowed to pay in phases. So that really suits Arsenal. And I think he will join. And I think he's going to be incredible next to Declan Rice next season. And if you haven't watched the game last night, I would suggest watching the compilations because he looks really, really good. Spacetime 34 has just asked about Thomas Partey renewing. Now, many of you will have noticed that the Premier League release lists were out today. Thomas Partey is mentioned in that list, but as we've talked about on this channel, not a player that I personally would absolutely want to renew. We've talked about that at length. I'm not going to go into too much more detail as to why, despite a good season from him. But despite being on that release list, I think Arsenal are still negotiating with him. They're still keen on him to sign. They wanted to get the list out today, the Premier League, and just watch this space. That circumstance might change. Hand of Arsenal has just sealed it there. There you go. Martin Zubi will sign for Arsenal pending his medical. We shall wait and see if that comes through. I'm hoping the medical will be an absolute certainty, but we are looking forward to Martin Zubimendi joining Arsenal. I wonder what shirt he's going to get. Jonathan Case's Highbury squad saying that she's a contact that Madrid are trying to get Zubimendi, worried till he signs officially. I'm not going to doubt Sophie's contacts. I love what she does at the Highbury squad. I'm sure she's very well connected in the game. I'm going with Hand of Arsenal tonight. Hand of Arsenal is the guy. If you want to follow Hand of Arsenal on X, the transfer updates, he's the man. He is the man. Shoria says they're still irked that they couldn't do the remontada and they're just trying to frustrate us now. Maybe that's the remontada that they had in mind. There you go. Louis just beating me to the chat. A remontada in the transfer market. Speaking of Real Madrid, Joby Bellingham, Jude's brother, has gone to Dortmund. What do you guys make of that transfer? That surprised me a little bit. I thought there was a little noise about Joby Bellingham in the Premier League, but now he's left Sunderland and he's gone to Dortmund following in his brother's footsteps. I wonder where that career might end up. But Zubi, we are on to you, and I look forward to seeing you. The other news, Arsenal are set to sign a new... See what I did there? A new goalkeeper. Of course, Chelsea, former Real Madrid player as well. Chelsea sold this guy. Sorry, Real Madrid bought this guy for £71 million. Did Real Madrid buy him for £71 million? Or did Chelsea buy him for £71 million? Someone bought him for a shed load of money. And here we are, after a loan move down to Bournemouth and after a really good season at Bournemouth, available for as little as £5 million release clause. That is the news. David Ornstein dropped that bomber just a few days ago, saying that Arsenal were going to sign him. Obviously, hasn't progressed or been made official yet. Yeah, lots of people correcting me now, saying Chelsea did pay that much money. I know, Ham. Tell me about it, man. How fast did that ball hit your helmet, not your ribs today, mate? It's my rib cage. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm really hoping that I've not done any serious damage to it. He's still the most expensive goalkeeper in the world, says V Vlad. What do you guys think about Kepa? Do you think he's good value? Do you think he's going to be automatic number 2, or do you think he might challenge for number 1? In fact, I'm going to set up a poll now, and I just want you to tell me about whether you think he is good value. So is Kepa, why the caps lock not working? There you go. Is Kepa good value? Now, I've got no idea how much his wages are going to be, but apparently he was on a subsidised wage down at Bournemouth, which he's likely to continue at Arsenal. As we look at his stats, courtesy of Sky Sports, here you can see some stats per 90. Now, bear in mind, he's played down in Bournemouth last season. This is showing the percentile against Europe's top 5 leagues. So per 90, conceding just over a goal. Clean sheets 1 in 4, makes just over 3 saves per 90 games. Look at the percentiles there for punch clearances, keeper sweeper regains. That's obviously something that Arteta likes. Passes completed, nothing extraordinary there, but completes about 20 passes a game. If he obviously joins Arsenal and ends up playing for Arsenal, he will be expected to do a lot more of that. I can't take credit for this slide, by the way. This is courtesy of Sky Sports. Tries to attempt long passes, 14 of those in a game, and errors leading to shots or goals. 0.1 per 90. Now, these stats correct of as of the 9th of June. I quite like the idea of this signing. Now, I know many of you are going to sort of say, oh, how many times, FK? Have you not learned signing old, expensive sort of failure players from Chelsea? I like this kid. I think he's had a really good season at Bournemouth. And Bournemouth, I think that's their second best defensive record in the Premier League that they've kept this season. And he's obviously played in a number of those games. I think he's a good player. And I'm not sure how much he's going to push David Raya. I think David Raya is undisputed number 1. I think the club would have gone a different way with Joran Garcia, but it looks like Barcelona are probably going to secure a move for him at some point this week. But for £5 million, for someone who's Premier League proven, 30 years of age, I can't fault it. I think it's a really sensible decision by Arsenal to go there and get that as a number 2. And, he's Spanish speaking. You've got Inaki Kanya there. You've got Arteta there. I think it makes a lot of sense. The only thing that kind of springs to mind, do you remember that debacle? I think, was it a League Cup final that Chelsea played and Sarri was on the bench and he didn't want to come off for the penalties and there was that sort of fallout? Arteta's not going to tolerate that. But I like what I see. Let's see what the chat is saying. Matt says fantastic value at £5 million. Jonathan says happy with the fee, but let's stop signing Chelsea players. That would be nice. Dan says we love signing former Bournemouth goalkeepers, Neto, now Kepa and Ramsdale. Yes, he did play down at Bournemouth. Farhan says, thought I was the only one who called him a goalkeeper. What have I started now? Howard says backup goalkeeper is the weirdest position in football, and I don't think there's a perfect one. We've gone down the route of acceptable backup for cups and in an emergency. Listen, I think he's better than just having an emergency cup goalkeeper. I think he's better than having an emergency in the league. I think he can play. And David Raya, towards the back end of last season, we covered this towards the back end of the season when we sort of said, look, I never really understood the mental fatigue that goalkeepers go through. And I think every now and again, you just need to rotate and give them a week off, a couple of weeks off. The intense concentration that goalkeepers have to have in the modern game now. They've got to anticipate every pass back. They've got to anticipate every loose ball to go up there and play. And they've got to, it's high stress, high risk, high reward sort of environment, and any mistake gets capitalized. And I think that's going to be really important. And maybe we go stronger in the cup competitions next year. Dan says £5 million will present great value. It's been a very, very good season away from that poison chalice that is Chelsea, of course. Mafia Boss says number 2, number 1. I'm not sure what you're saying there, Mafia Boss. Please clarify. Forder says good value, but I can't stand the guy, especially after the Sarri debacle. Yeah, the Maurizio. Is it Maurizio? Gosh, I'm just making things up now. I remember that vividly. He was supposed to come off for the penalty shootout and he refused to do it. And Sarri lost his mind, like storming onto the pitch, going down the tunnel, then coming back out again. Yeah, not going to be any time for that at Arsenal. Vivla says, as long as he's better than Norberto Neto, I have no complaints. Neto, listen, he didn't get to play at the Emirates, poor bugger, but he did play out in Girona. We all remember that save he tried to make in the middle of the pitch. Fabrizio has apparently posted something 20 minutes ago. JD, what's happening? He says, Cesco offers from Saudi. Listen, who's not getting an offer from Saudi? Who's not getting an offer from Saudi right now? And Dave, Guna73 says, absolute no-brainer on the Kepa signing. Pretty much plays the way Arteta likes. So no change when using him. I think it is a sensible move. We'll do a full breakdown. I've asked John Harrison, the goalkeeping expert, the goalkeeping stat man, to come on the show, and we'll do a deep dive, pun intended, breakdown into Kepa as and when things begin to materialize. Let's talk about Cesco. It's mentioned in the chat. Simon Collins of the Evening Standard dropping his own type of bomber today, and that is that Arsenal and RB Leipzig have held talks over a deal for the hitman, Benjamin Šeško, with the German club hoping to secure a fee in the region of £70 million. By the way, you've just reminded me, the poll is ongoing. Let's end that in the chat. 94% of you think that Kepa at £5 million is good value. Really pleased to kind of see you guys think that. That is what I want to see. Yamin Yamal is in the chats this evening. Where were you? Where were you last night, Yamin Yamal, in the final? Ronaldo did the dirty on you. Evening Verge says Forder on football. Yem gets a lot of love, doesn't he? Little rascal. He gets a lot of love. Ewan, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Sorry if I've completely butchered it. Actually surprised that Kepa is happy to be number 2 at Arsenal. Could start for a lot of Premier League clubs. Well, I wonder what his motivation is. He might come to Arsenal thinking he can genuinely surpass David Raya. Maybe. Who knows? Maybe. So, Benjamin Šeško, what do we all think? £70 million, I think, is really good value again. Like, I have no idea where this fee is going to go. I did see the rumors and reports that you guys will have seen 80, 85, 93, 95 million quid. I don't think it's going to be that high. But £70 million for a striker who's so young, 6'5", electric pace, good finisher. He's got all the raw minerals. So many people have said it. You know, Gunnerblog, it all started a couple of weeks back when one of his mates outside of Arsenal Football Club in the football world sort of said that this guy has got all the pedigree to be the best number 9 in the world. £70 million doesn't sound like a lot of money for someone who could end up playing for us for 10 years. Look, I am indifferent to who we get up top. If it's Victor Gyökeres, I'm happy. If it's Cesco, I'm happy. If it's Ollie Watkins, I'm happy. I think this team would just be so much better elevated with a centre forward who can score goals, and in addition to Kai Havertz, who of course we can't forget. But I think Cesco is a really good deal at 70 million. I'm a little bit nervous that there's been no mention of any other club. I know there's talk about Saudi JD, but why are Liverpool not going for this guy? You know, they're looking to ship Darwin Nunez. Why are United not going for Cesco? I guess that you got the Ruben Amorim, Gyökeres links, but, you know, why is no one else going for this guy? The striker market is limited, as Yem says, but it feels like we've got a bit of a free run, and I hope that we don't fumble the bag here. Vlad's Benjamin Šeško. Enko says, FK, my man, I'm off work for 3 months being home with my little daughter. That's all summer looking at every link to Arsenal. Well, Henke, not many people have the opportunity to spend 3 months at home with their little ones. If you have that moment and you're both in good health, of course, then cherish that. It's a fantastic time, fantastic privilege. Jonathan says, geez, £70 million transfer market is broken. That's Rodrigo money. Really? Yem saying 70 million is a decent price. Well, there you go. Sums up Arsenal fans. AP says 5% needs a wobble. That's regards to the Kepa poll. How is it not a great deal? It covers a spot, keeps our funds free for other targets. That's a really salient point, AP. You know, you can judge the value of a transfer by the percentage of your total spend that player takes. And if Kepa's coming in for 5 mil, that is, you know, what? We're talking like 5%, 2.5% of our total spend this summer. That is going to be very, very, very useful. Henke says, just get the Cesco deal done. He's just 22. Nobody else is going for Cesco, says 88 miles an hour. I hope you've had a really good day. Jonathan K says, facts, FK. Why is no one in why is no one else in Europe going for him? Arteta is obsessed with him. Yeah, Chelsea are sniffing around Mafia Boss. I heard that as well, but it feels like they want Ekitike, but we will have to see. V Vlad says, if we get Zubi, Cesco, and Kepa done in the next 3 weeks, that's the majority of our work done in terms of incomings. Bert is definitely moving fast, and he's moving fast on contracts. Gabriel Magalhaes, all sorted. William Saliba, Bukayo Saka, talks are progressing well, apparently, which is really, really important. So look, Simon Collins, I trust him. He's a very distinguished journalist, obviously well connected in the game, reports for the Evening Standard. He says Arsenal and RB Leipzig have now held talks over a deal for Benjamin Šeško. It doesn't really mean that anything's been agreed, but it does mean that we can be excited because it is a player that we know and love, and is a player that I think we should absolutely go all out for. And the sooner we get the deal done, the better. Taylor says he's my favorite, number 9, behind Osimhen. What is happening to Osimhen? Is he going to Al Hilal? Is he not going to Saudi? I just feel like there's a player there who's just wasting away. Maybe he just hangs around with, I don't know, bad advisors, bad people. It just feels really sort of sad. I think some are getting a bit ahead of themselves. Still some big holes in his game. Yeah, listen, you can't expect him to pull up trees from day one. But listen, Taylor, any striker is going to come into this Arsenal team, and I think he's going to smash it. We are such a good team, and we're desperately short up top. Josh says, I think Cesco has chosen us is all. Other clubs must know it's Arsenal or bust for him. Maybe that's cope. Yeah, we will have to see. AP says we've already got backup in Kai. And Henke, yep, he's so lucky to be in this position at home with your family. You are indeed, my friend, and I hope you cherish every moment of it. Kai was 65 2 years ago. Not sure what to think of 70 million for Cesco. Well, look, if we get Cesco over the line and he comes in and bags 20 goals in the Premier League next season, that is a massive plus for us. And it's also about the impact he's going to have on the rest of the team. If you've got someone who can hold up the ball, is a great target man, fantastic in the air, who's dominant up front as a centre forward, it allows your midfielders and your wide players to get much more involved in the game, and it's going to hopefully result in extra output for us. So there we are. There's your roundup today. So Zubimendi, I think, is done to Arsenal. Hand of Arsenal is the guy. Kepa is simmering along nicely. David Ornstein, of course, dropped that bomber a few days ago. I think we all appreciate that it's good value for Arsenal. It's a good decision by the club. And Benjamin Šeško, Simon Collins has said that we are now in talks with RB Leipzig to hopefully get our man. So hopefully the next few days are going to be interesting. And looking ahead to the next few days, so George of the Cannon Podcast will be here with me tomorrow. We'll have Clive from the Arsenal Vision Podcast on Wednesday. We've got AFC James coming up on Thursday. Then the boys will be back for the Late Night Lounge on Friday. And Laura Kirk and I will be back at the weekend. The content is coming thick and fast. Like, subscribe, get involved. Until tomorrow, bye for now.